Well, I'm sorry I wasn't there to hear Rob's introduction because I've known Rob a long time and he's a remarkable friend. And I fear that the introduction might have been a little overstated, a little exaggerated, but thank you, Rob. It's wonderful to be here by video. I'm really sorry that I can't be there in person. I was really hoping to be there to see the unveiling of this extraordinary Phoenician ship museum model, which is the forerunner of the wonderful museum that's going to be built on the banks of the Mississippi River in the heartland. I was introduced to Mike and Betty LaFontaine and this remarkable project by a longtime friend of mine and a fellow filmmaker by the name of Yuri Sanada. Yuri and I were working on some projects in Brazil, and years later he called me and said he just got back from a voyage across the Atlantic in an ancient boat. That was the voyage of 2009. He was a crew member and he also shot the film. And then Yuri sailed again with Captain Beale and the Phoenician in 2020, and we reconnected. And when he called me and said that they were dismantling the boat and rebuilding the boat for a museum on the banks of the Mississippi River, and that he'd like to introduce me to Mike and Betty LaFontaine, I said, wow, I'm most interested. Needless to say, the 30,000 nautical mile journey of the Phoenician is a wonderful affirmation of two other very important voyages that are important to us, and that is the voyage of Lehi and the voyage of the Mulekites. A wonderful affirmation of that journey across the Atlantic Ocean and landing in North America. And more than that, Captain Beale demonstrated that the materials and the technology of 600 BC were more than sufficient to build a really stable seagoing vessel, as Lehi did and as he did. And that's a wonderful affirmation. And the fact that it's now going to be available for people to visit and to relive that experience, not only of Captain Beale and his intrepid crew, but to reimagine the voyage of Lehi and the Mulekites and the many other migrations across the Atlantic Ocean that we know took place. I'm really excited about this project. The definitive film of those voyages, Lehi and Mulekites, has never really been done, and I hope this time, if it is done, that it will be done in the right place, show the landing in the right place. I know some of you know that I've been very involved in making films. I'm sure Rod may have mentioned the film Legacy that I did for the church, and then later the film The Testaments, which was based on Book of Mormon. And I went on record as saying it was the most expensive and the biggest film the church ever made, and I made it in the wrong place. You can imagine how I felt when I saw that in the Deseret News the following morning, and there were some interesting comments. I always cushion that comment by what President Faust, then a member of the First Presidency, told me, and that was that we don't know where these things took place, and where they took place is not what's most important. But nevertheless, having seen all that Rob and his people have put together in terms of research, having taken the tour of the mounds, having read what Joseph Smith said, what the Savior said in the Book of Mormon, I'm quite persuaded that indeed the heartland is the setting for the Book of Mormon. I like to think that the Garden of Eden and the restoration of the gospel, the coming forth of the Book of Mormon, and the land of the Nephites and Lamanites is all in that general area of the heartland. I hope that you'll join with me in supporting this museum project. It's a wonderful project. There's so many different ways that you can help. You can make a generous contribution. You can actually go to the workshop at the Mississippi River where they're rebuilding the ship, and you can participate. You can help them. You can spread the word to family and friends and encourage them to support it. I do wish I could be with you today. I know it's going to be a wonderful event, but thanks for letting me come by video, and we'll see you all in the museum.